The Siberian wilderness was no place for the faint of heart. Thick pine trees stood like ancient sentinels, their branches heavy with snow. The wind howled through the valleys, carrying the scent of ice and something else, something unfamiliar. Daniel adjusted the strap of his camera, shivering inside his heavy coat. Beside him, Mia scanned the landscape, a veterinarian by profession and an adventurer by spirit. She was always on alert for the unexpected, but neither of them was prepared for what they saw next. Near the frozen riverbank, a small, trembling shape lay half buried in the snow. At first, it looked like a pile of brown fur, lifeless and still. Then, a faint whimper. "A cub," Mia whispered, rushing forward. Daniel's heart pounded as he pulled out his camera, capturing the moment before kneeling beside her. The bear cub was no more than a few months old, its fur matted with ice, its tiny body shivering violently. Worse still, a deep gash ran along its hind leg, fresh with blood. Mia's fingers hovered over the wound. "Something attacked it," she murmured. "A wolf? Another bear?" Daniel's eyes darted around the silent forest. Where was the mother? They had two choices. Leave the cub to nature's harsh fate, or take a risk that could put them in danger. Mia looked at Daniel. "If we don't help, it won't survive the night." Daniel exhaled, watching his breath disappear into the frozen air. He knew what they had to do, but deep in the forest, hidden among the trees, something was watching them. Mia worked quickly, her gloved hands moving over the injured cub with precision. The little bear flinched, but was too weak to resist. Daniel kept watch, his breath visible in the freezing air. The forest was too quiet. No birds, no crunching of branches, just an eerie stillness. "This wound is deep," Mia murmured. She pulled a small first aid kit from her backpack, using antiseptic to clean the gash. The cub whimpered. "I know, buddy. I know it hurts." Daniel crouched beside them. "This isn't normal, is it?" Mia shook her head. "Bear cubs don't just wander alone like this. If the mother was nearby, she should come running the moment we touched it." A chill ran down Daniel's spine. Had something happened to the mother? Mia wrapped the cub's leg in a bandage and tucked it inside her thick coat. "We can't leave him here." Daniel hesitated. If his mother's alive, she'll be looking for him. Mia met his eyes. "And if she's dead?" Silence. Daniel exhaled and zipped up his coat. "All right, but we move fast." They hurried back toward their remote cabin, a small wooden structure hidden between towering pines. The cub barely moved, exhausted from the cold and injury. Just as they reached the door, a deep, rumbling growl echoed through the trees. Daniel froze. Mia clutched the cub tighter. Something was out there, watching. Inside the small wooden cabin deep in the Siberian wilderness. The fire crackled, casting a warm glow against the icy storm raging outside. Mia carefully laid the cub on a pile of blankets, his tiny chest rising and falling in uneven breaths. "He's dehydrated," she said, pouring warm water into a small bowl. "And starving." Daniel rummaged through their supplies. "We have protein bars, but I don't think bears like chocolate," he joked, trying to lighten the tension. Mia smirked. "Funny. Try warm milk." The cub, now named Cody, barely stirred as Mia gently fed him from a small bottle. But after a few sips, his little nose twitched, his eyes blinking open for the first time. Daniel grinned. "He's waking up." Mia stroked Cody's fur. "He's a fighter." But outside, the forest wasn't silent anymore. Low, guttural growls echoed in the distance. Something was searching. Something big. Daniel peered through the frosted window. Shadows moved between the trees. Mia whispered, "You think it's his mother?" Daniel swallowed. Or was it the thing that attacked her? But inside the cabin, Cody was safe. For now. The blizzard howled outside, shaking the wooden cabin like a beast trying to claw its way in. Mia and Daniel huddled near the fire, watching as Cody, now stronger, snored softly, curled up in a blanket. "He's recovering fast," Mia whispered. "We should start thinking about releasing him." Daniel nodded, though something about the idea made his chest tighten. "Yeah, but how?" "He's just a cub." Mia sighed. "It has to be soon. The longer he stays, the harder it'll be for him to survive out there. Then, a sound cut through the wind. A deep, guttural growl. Daniel jumped to his feet, rushing to the window. Shadows moved between the trees. Then, a massive silhouette emerged from the snowstorm. Mia's breath caught. Is that? A bear. A huge one. Cody stirred in his sleep, whimpering. The bear outside let out a low, echoing call. Mia's eyes widened. It's his mother. Daniel clenched his jaw. Then why hasn't she come for him before? Something wasn't right. The bear lingered at the edge of the trees, not approaching, as if waiting for something. Then, a second set of glowing eyes appeared behind her, and another. Wolves. Mia's heart pounded. She's not hunting. She's being hunted. Daniel grabbed his rifle, though he knew it was useless against the pack. If the wolves attacked, Cody's mother wouldn't stand a chance. Cody whimpered again, but this time it wasn't fear. It was recognition. And outside, his mother let out a final, desperate roar. Would she survive the night? The night was alive with danger. The wolves circled Cody's mother, their glowing eyes slicing to the darkness like tiny embers. She was huge, but even a bear couldn't fight off an entire pack alone. Inside the cabin, Cody whined, sensing the danger. His small paws scratched at the wooden floor. He wanted to go to her. Mia's heart broke. We can't just watch this happen. Daniel gritted his teeth, gripping his rifle. A single shot might scare them off, but if it doesn't, a growl outside made the decision for them. The wolves lunged, with a deafening roar. Cody's mother reared up, swiping at the nearest wolf with her massive claws. Blood sprayed across the snow, but the others didn't back down. They snapped at her legs, her throat, moving in for the kill. Daniel fired into the air. The crack of the gunshot shattered the night. The wolves hesitated. Then, something unexpected happened. Cody, tiny but fearless, let out a cub-sized growl and stumbled toward the door. Mia gasped, "Cody, no!" But the cub had made up his mind. He sprinted outside, yelping desperately. And then his mother saw him. For a split second, the battle froze. The injured mother bear locked eyes with her son. A deep, rumbling growl vibrated from her throat. Not of fear, but of renewed strength. She charged, with a ferocity Daniel had never seen. She tore into the wolves, sending them scattering into the trees. The leader tried to stand his ground, but one final roar sent him running. Silence fell over the snow-covered clearing. Cody limped forward, pressing his tiny head against his mother's massive paw. She nuzzled him, breathing deeply, as if making sure he was real. Mia wiped her eyes. She was never going to leave him. She just needed time to find him. Daniel exhaled, lowering his rifle, and we gave her that chance. The bears turned toward the forest, stepping into the shadows. But before disappearing, Cody looked back, one last time, a silent goodbye. And then they were gone. The forest was silent again. The only sign that a battle had taken place was the churned-up snow and a few dark stains where the wolves had fled. Daniel let out a breath he hadn't realized he was holding. It was over. Mia wiped her eyes, her gaze locked on the last place Cody and his mother had disappeared. The cub was gone. Their little survivor had returned to the wild where he belonged. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. Then Daniel gave a soft chuckle. "Well, guess that's the end of our bear-sitting career." Mia laughed, but there was a sadness in her eyes. "Do you think he'll be okay?" Daniel glanced at the trees. He has her, and she's a fighter. They packed their supplies in silence, the cabin suddenly feeling emptier. But fate wasn't done with them yet. Months later, spring had arrived, melting the thick snow into fast-running streams. Daniel and Mia had returned for another expedition, tracking the land where they had once cared for a lost cub. One morning, as they hiked along a ridge, Mia stopped suddenly. "Daniel," she whispered, pointing. "Look." Across the valley, near a clearing of wildflowers, a massive bear stood at the tree lean. Not just any bear, Cody's mother. And beside her, a young bear cub, strong, healthy, and full of life. "Cody." Mia's breath hitched. "It's him." For a moment, The bears simply watched. Then, in a slow, deliberate motion, Cody lifted his head and let out a soft, familiar growl. A farewell, a thank you. Mia smiled through her tears. He remembers us. And just like that, they turned and vanished into the wilderness, where legends belong. But in their hearts, Daniel and Mia knew Cody's story wasn't over. It was just beginning.